Hello everybody, my name is Christian Quick, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about the new update, the version 2.9. This mod is now officially 1 year old, and I'm going to separate this into two different parts. One talking about all the additions, and then another video talking about all the changes and bug fixes, because the list is huge. So, let's get on with the video. Talking from least to most complex, we have Pete. Peat was something that was added kind of last moment, so in this current state, it doesn't really do anything, but you can find it in swamps and mangrove swamps, so any kind of swamp biome. So here in a swamp, we have some peat going in with the ground, and you can tell that we're in a nice lovely swamp. And so there is your water sea level, and peat can go 32 blocks all the way until Y32, and then it will stop spawning. And then it can also, there's a little mountain up here for a perfect example, it can also go all the way up to Y level 96, and it will also stop spawning up here. So it needs to be close, within 32 blocks of sea level for this to be found, but like I said, it can only be found in swamps and mangrove biomes. Chiseled marble bricks. So the deal with these is that I had made marble bricks and I made all the variants, but I was not able to make the chiseled. So for this, you're going to need a stone cutter, and with your stone cutter, you can put in some marble and you will be able to get it. So this is warped nylium. Without the lava face, it looks like this, and then it looks super cool with it. It is used to grow the Midas seeds, but there was, for the longest time, it was only the crimson nylium that could be changed to farmland, and now farmland can as well because we have this brand new block introduced into the game. Now these two unique blocks are going to be quite the interesting conversation. So we have nether prismarine and hellstone bricks. Both are actually craftable, so if we look at the hellstone bricks, you can use it with the hellstone and the nether brick combination, and you will get yourself a nether brick. And the other one is the nether priz. It is just blaze powder with some hellstone. It doesn't hurt. There is a little bit of a light level. It does animate, so those are really cool. These are going to be found in a particular structure, and we're going to talk about that structure after the items. Here we have the gluey piston. The gluey piston is very unique because unlike a sticky piston, there are certain things that it can and can't move compared to the gluey piston. Gluey piston can move end portal frames. Both obsidian and crying obsidian types can move the reinforced deep slate, and it can also move respawn anchors in addition to everything else. The sticky piston can move pistons, but regular pistons cannot move sticky pistons. So, you think hard with your redstone, and here we have a brand new block with some unique attributes. Now these blocks, we have the honey hive, the royal jelly, and infested honeycomb. And to talk further about these, I'm going to bring us to a brand new structure that generates in the world. Now, as you're breaking through your world, you might find a nice yellow structure with some honeycomb. This is just a regular honeycomb block from Minecraft. It's nothing unique. However, if I keep digging further in, I'll eventually find something called infested honeycomb. Each block will contain a bee, and these bees actually will not get agile with you for breaking them. The structure inside is known as a bee cave, and all this bee cave, well, it's full of honey. But what's the purpose? Well, that's when we can get into some items and then talk about the blocks. So, if you bring yourself some handy-dandy buckets in here, you'll be able to obtain something known as a honey bucket. Looking inside your crafting table, remember that there are a couple of new blocks. So infested honeycomb cannot be crafted, however you can craft a honey hive and something called royal jelly. Royal jelly is really important because it is used to summon a mob that is going to be called the queen bee. You're going to need some honeycomb on the outside and a honey bucket in the center. A honey hive needs to be filled with absolute honey blocks, and you can use any wood type on the outside to complete it. When you've obtained some of this stuff, you can have some royal jelly and a honey hive, and it'll create something called a soldier bee. As you can tell that they have the red eyes despite having no reason to be angry, And although you can create them, they're also summoned by the Queen Bee. I would recommend coming up to the surface to summon the Queen Bee. To do it, I would recommend also going a block down, because you're going to need 3 Royal Jelly, and you might need to jump up to get that last hive on top. The Queen Bee has been summoned, and, well, I'm in creative, because I don't feel like fighting this thing. The Queen Bee has a couple of attacks. Mainly, it will summon when it sees you, and will also clip through the ground. If you hit it, it will regenerate, so you need to be quite careful of that. And I would also not recommend fighting this particularly alone. It is possible, but you might find some difficulties keeping up with both the spawning of the bees and the regeneration of the health. The Queen Bee does have a chance to be able to drop a helmet, its chest plate, leggings, some boots, and even a stinger. The Queen Bee armor can be quite useful, because when you wear the whole set, you'll be given a new effect called Poison Immunity. Poison Immunity simply makes it so that you're immune to getting poison. The stinger has a 7 attack damage and 1.6 attack speed. Deep in the jungle, it is possible to find a new mob known as the Great Hunger. Now this guy will eat you, but using the Blood Life, the Cutlass, if you just click on him, he will take them, and he can, well, he can change the weapons. But you just gotta be careful, because he's got a nasty bite, especially if you're not wearing any armor. Nothing new that we've seen is the freezer, but I have changed the way that we can make the water. So it used to consume the bucket using snowballs, but now it's a little bit different. I'll get something called an iced bucket. And your ice bucket is a block that you can click on and then break, and you'll get both the bucket and ice block, which can be used. And when you use it, it will create an infinite source. So it is just the new way of doing things. As per request, there is a new painting. I just gotta find it. There it is. The Donkey Kong face. Welcome to the Nether. And if you remember, I was talking about there being 2 added blocks and that we would get to that structure later. But how do you get to that structure? You're going to need both an Ender Pearl and a Hellstone piece, and you can combine them together to make a Fortress Seeker. Just like an Eye of Ender, you throw it, you look around, and then there's, I believe... I don't know if I had it at 10% or if it's 100% that it won't break. It might still be 10% as well, but it's in this direction. Just to speed things up, nether cores are most likely found under the lava lakes in the nether. So they're usually found here, probably about, what is it, like Y30? Something like that, Y22. And there is a door. I think this one is, yeah, this one's like covered, unfortunately. Oh, wow. Now that's some stuff. But we're just gonna be a little cheeky about it. So the nether fortress will bring you here. That's gone. And in it, you can get some basic loot. You got some lucky pieces, some silk, some charcoal, a lava bucket, and this thing called a sunstone. Let's go back in the overworld and explain some last final things. Conveniently, it happens to be nighttime, so this is a perfect example to possess the sunstone. So if it is in your offhand and you click to use it, it won't do it. It needs to be in your direct main hand is what it's called. If I click on it, it suddenly just turns it to day. So, advantages this will have, compared to just a lot of people are going to be like, why don't you just use a bed? Sometimes you don't always have a bed accessible to you. And then there is player sleeping percentage, in which all players need to be sleeping at the same time. Now, instead of having all the players together, it doesn't matter who's sleeping or who is not. This will override that and will just turn it into day. So, with that in mind, that is basically all the additions. There was one addition. It's actually an effect, and I'm going to use commands to kind of show this off. So I'm going to do / effect give at s, and then this one is called health shrinkage. The rest of them are technically in the game that I added, but they're not going to be introduced and actually used until further editions. So this one is called health shrinkage. Health shrinkage in its first form, you can't really tell unless unless I get hurt, I guess. And then it cannot regenerate. Despite me having regeneration for a long time, once your health updates, it's gonna be like that for good, really. Let's quickly put that on there. That way you can. Actually, let's do it like really good, right? So that is health shrinkage 1, right? And for every let's go in here. For every level, you will lose a half a heart that cannot be regenerated. So right here, like even with regeneration, let's say I use 10. So because it's each half a heart, it would get rid of 5 hearts. So we're gonna put it on. We're gonna update our health, and then you'll notice now I'm only left with 5 hearts. So I actually confused myself doing this for a moment because I forgot that Java starts at 0. So when I give myself level 10, I actually give myself level 11 because the 0 and level 1 gets like moved. But it is half a level for every heart. I just accidentally messed it up. Sorry. How if I have like the full like 255, like I should be dead. I should be dead. But it won't kill you. It will max out, and it will stop at half a heart, so you won't die. And how do you get this effect? Flash. And then you can tell my regeneration worked instantly. So if I /summon shadow creature, these actually come from shadow creatures. So if he hits me, for every time he hits me, you're gonna notice that it's gonna go up. And up, and up, and you can see that every time he hits me, it's going to update my health bar. And, yeah. After level 10, you're not going to be able to see it, but you'll definitely be able to see it here. And if he hits you, you can die, so don't let him kill you. Something that I forgot to mention about the honey bucket is that here we have 2 bad effects. We got weakness and slowness, and we have 2 good effects, regeneration and night vision. If you drink a honey bucket, only the bad effects will have gone away, and you'll only keep the good ones. So that's another reason to get a nice bucket of honey on your hands. If you are fighting the queen bee, it is an interact mob, so if you click on the bee while you are fighting her, you are able to get a bucket for each bucket that you click on her. Alright, and that seems to be the whole summary of this video. So, there will be another part 2 talking about all the changes and bug fixes in the game, but for now, it'll be all the additions for this update. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and without further ado,